Okay, before I begin today, I have to show you these hydrangeas, which I brought back on the train from Rhode Island, cut from my friend's garden. I love hydrangeas because you never really know what color they're going to be, and they actually change color through the season. And here in mid-August, the hydrangeas I was just marveling at them in the garden. There's so many various shades of blue and green and turquoise, even purple and yellow in these blossoms. They're just stunning. And the reason why I love bringing them into my apartment is because the walls of my bedroom and my living room are various shades of sort of a bluey gray. And I find that when I put the hydrangeas, particularly in this vase, which is an Astie de Villat printed vase, collaboration with John Darien of Cape Cod. When I put the hydrangeas in here, they pull the colors of the wall. They play off the colors of the wall, and I just find it so stunning. So I pack these up in a plastic bag, and they're actually durable. They get stuffed into my duffel bag on the train, and when I come back to New York, I'm always like, oh, did they survive the trip? And they always do. My hydrangeas, which I love so much. Okay, the subject of this video, a very interesting concept, something that I've been practicing for years, but was relayed to me recently with a term that I loved. My friend Will, who lives out in Seattle and works for Filson, we were talking about purchasing things that are made really, really well with good materials, particularly clothing, and how if something is made really well with good materials over time with intense use, they just become better and better. And Will said this thing that stuck in my head. He said, you have to earn the wear. That you can buy things off the rack that look beat up and worn, but these things are so much nicer when you really use them, and the wear on them is genuine and specific to the activities that you've used them for. I loved that. I loved hearing earning the wear. So it's been something that's very interesting to me, because when I'm talking to people close to me about materials and going out there and shopping and sourcing things, I'm often asked, like, how do you know if something is good quality? Well, this is a really difficult question to answer. It's something that I've addressed before. You learn by feeling things and doing your research and understanding what goes into the manufacturing of the item that you're purchasing and why something feels or looks a certain way. It's very complicated. It's very layered. I don't really have good advice on how to do that, except that you have to be sort of patient with yourself and try to find companies or makers that you really trust. You're much more likely to acquire something that's very well made from an individual craftsperson than you are buying from a big brand. Because usually, if it's a craftsperson, they are trying to maintain a reputation and integrity. So they're probably, if they have a reputation already of making really nice things using good quality materials, they probably want to maintain that, and they're liable for that. And if you have a complaint, you're going to complain to them, as opposed to a very big brand. So that's one tip. In my life, when I'm searching for something, a particular thing that I would like, I have found that the versions of those things that I end up really loving are usually made by hand by one person. But that's not always the case. So one of the things that is interesting about this idea of earning the wear on something that you've purchased is that in order to have this thing be broken down and become more and more beautiful with time, in order to withstand all the wear that you're going to put it through, it has to be good quality, because what this whole desire is about is infusing the thing with a beautiful patina and like stretch marks and pigmentation, maybe, whether it's wood or leather or cloth. And in order for that to happen, it usually takes years and years. But the thing has to be made well enough with good quality materials to withstand the wear and the potential abuse that you're putting it through without falling apart. And this is something that I think is fascinating that many modern consumers are not aware of, because a priority for many modern consumers is comfort. Many people want to go to a shop or buy something online and put it on or hold it or carry it, and for it to feel comfortable. Let's take leather, for example, like a leather belt or a leather bag or leather purse. They want it to be soft and supple. Well, there are many versions of very high quality leather out there made into the garments or belts that are soft and supple. But generally speaking, in order for leather to withstand many years of use and hard wear, bearing weight like something like a bag, it needs to be made out of a strong, thick hide. And really good quality leather is often very stiff when it's first manufactured. So someone looking at something that's made out of a really good vegetable tanned hide, I'm going to use the bag for example, they might look at it and think, this is really not soft, and I'm not really into how this feels, because I want a leather bag that's soft and supple. And I'm using this example because this is something I went through many years ago, 21 years ago to be exact. I was at a craft show in Toronto called the One of a Kind Show, very well-known craft show, and there was a booth where a guy was making and selling leather goods. So I looked around the booth and I wasn't really drawn to anything except one bag that was on a chair, and this thing was all beaten up and broken down and looked like something from an Indiana Jones movie. And I just made a beeline for that bag and asked him if it was for sale, and he said, this bag, I'm offered money for this bag constantly, and no, it's not for sale. That's my bag that I made 40 years ago, but I make bags exactly like this with the same kind of leather, and if you buy one and you really use it, over time it will end up looking like this. So I did that. I placed an order. He custom made my bag, and this is it right now. And let me just say that when it first arrived, it was really stiff and looked nothing like the leather that I saw on the leather that made up his bag. But this is now 21 years old, and over all of those years of being used and abused, it has held like heavy things in the leather. I've stuffed things in the bag. It's stretched this out. This bag has become so much more beautiful and softer with use. And this is what he said would happen. So he was true to his word. I started writing down every city that this bag has traveled to, like 21 years ago. So it's all documented where this bag has been, and it has been all over the world. Hong Kong, Hawaii, New Zealand, all over the States. And so I write down the city and I write down the year in this top flap. But I only own one leather bag, and it's this leather bag. And I earned the wear on this bag. So that's something that I think is a kind of a shame about not really being familiar with high quality materials when you're going out there and you're shopping, and arming yourself with that knowledge is something that you just kind of have to earn. And there's not an easy way of doing that. it takes experience. I think it takes taking a chance sometimes and buying something that you're not sure about and maybe being disappointed by it, but then understanding that that served you a purpose. You learned about what isn't good quality by spending your money somewhere you shouldn't have. And it just makes you love the things that do last so much more. So that's my leather bag that I feel like I've really earned the wear, and I continue to earn the wear by using it. And then in terms of clothing, I apply this philosophy to clothing as well. And the stuff that I have had for years and that I love, it really does get better with use and wear when it's well made. So I thought it was really interesting. I was with my friend Will, who, as I said, works for Filson. And then I left him and I met up with another friend in Seattle, and we were talking about Filson. And this other friend said, you know, I have a jacket that I bought from them, a winter jacket made of pure wool, but I found it was very stiff, and I ended up putting it in the closet, and I never reach for it when I have to take the dog out for a walk. And it's just kind of sitting there, and it's a shame. And I thought that was really interesting because the kind of jacket that he had was made of this wool, which is called Mackinaw, and it's one of the traditional cloths that has been used by Filson for many, many years. It's kind of like a boiled wool, and it is stiff, but it's stiff in the beginning, and you really have to, this is sort of the irony, in order for it to become comfortable and to mold to your body and to sort of stretch in the places where you're moving in a particular way, you have to wear the thing, and you have to wear one of those Mackinaw jackets consistently for a couple of years before it really starts to feel like a wonderful warm hug. But it does happen. And that's the case I found with many things in my wardrobe that start off stiff. Usually the things that start off stiff, they're stiff because it's sturdy fibers, like jeans, for example. So many jeans today, they have some elastane in them. If you look on the label, it'll probably say cotton, and then if there's anything else in the jeans, it's elastane. I think that's what it's called. It's it gives stretch to the cloth. But elastane is a synthetic material that breaks down over time, and it breaks down fairly quickly, especially if it goes in the dryer. So although it offers stretch to the jeans wear out much faster than if the jeans were 100% pure cotton. And when the jeans are made of not just 100% pure cotton, but long staple cotton, like where the fibers are very long, the fabric is much stronger. So these are, I only ever own 1 or 2 pairs of jeans at a time, and I just wear them constantly until they wear out. And I recently invested in a brand that someone told me about, and I explored the brand in both their shops here in Manhattan. It's called 45R. It's a Japanese brand. Everything is made with a lot of care and attention down to the fiber level. And these jeans are very special because they have been dyed with natural indigo, and they will not, I was told, they will not fade like here and here as most jeans do. That the dye and the fiber will keep its color for a long time. It'll keep its color until it actually starts shredding. And the other thing that I was very intrigued by with this company is that they have a tailor in-house that will do all kinds of repairs, that the brand actually wants their customers to bring stuff in and have it repaired because they believe that the stuff looks better as it's worn and repaired and worn and repaired, and that's the sort of look that they're going for their brand. But in order for that to happen, for the jeans to last decades, they need to be made with really good quality materials. So these are my jeans, which like my only pair of blue jeans, and this belt as well. It's a leather belt that's from Louisville, Kentucky. I forget the brand, but they're made right there. And I remember walking into this store and looking at everything and just being able to tell from my experience of working with leather but also purchasing leather that everything in the shop was made so beautifully with good quality hardware and leather. And this belt is now 7 years old, and it's my only belt that I have, and it's soft and patinaed already, and it's just beautiful. But it was crazy stiff when I first bought it. I'm going to show you my last pair of pants. So when I was in Seattle, when I was with Will, he was wearing these pants, and they were a light colored pant, but they were all modeled, and I didn't really know what I was looking at, but I liked the look of them. So I asked him what they were, and he said that these were a cotton canvas work pant, and that the reason they looked that way is because he just wears them when he's actually working, and he actually dug a ditch wearing these cream colored cotton trousers. He dug a ditch and he did a bunch of other huge outdoor projects in them, and just kept washing them, and over time they just became kind of stained and mottled, and then this is what they look like. And I don't know if that was his intention with these trousers, but the thing about Will is when he wears something, anything he wears, I want to wear. And I have some friends who they just have that ability to put something on with such confidence that everything they wear looks great on them, and then I'm inspired and I'm intrigued and I want what they have. So I got a pair of these cream colored cotton work pants from Filson, and I could just feel they were so durable and sturdy. They're double fronted, which means there's an extra layer of canvas on the front of the trousers. And when I got them, I was with Will, he said, now wear these when you're doing like work that's gonna stain them. So I thought of pottery immediately. I said, should I wear these trousers when I'm making pots? He said, absolutely. And I said, well, I can't wear them when I'm working with red clay, because the red will stain it all red. And then he interjected, he was like, no, that's absolutely when you should wear them. You must wear them when you're working with red clay, because then, this is what he said, you're going to put your genuine, unique mark on these trousers. So I was very excited. I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then a week later, I was in Connecticut making red flower pots with Guy, which I've continued to do on my own in Rhode Island all summer. And these are the pants after being washed. So this is what they look like. They were just caked in both white and red clay. And I think, I actually I love this look. And I can just feel that this is like sturdy canvas. It's very similar to the canvas that we actually stretch over plywood and use as our tabletops in the pottery studios for kneading clay, for wedging clay. We have canvas covered boards, and it's cotton canvas, kind of just like this. And this advice that Will gave me to wear the trousers while working with red clay was kind of against my instinct. When you think white pants or cream colored pants, you think, oh, I have to keep them pristine and clean, and that is its own look, which is totally warranted. That sleek look of maintaining the immaculate look of white clothing. But there's a flip side of this that's I think equally as beautiful, and that's to really lean in to infusing the things that you're using and that you own with the marks of your life, whether it's leisure where you're an outdoorsy kind of person and you go hiking and camping and you play sports, and then the garments and the accessories that you have that are used for those activities, they just start to take on the look of being outdoors and getting wet and drying in the sun. Or whether it's things that are used for artistic pursuits, like these trousers and clay, or whether it's your job, like you're a construction worker and you need garments that are going to really hold up to the wear and tear, and then you wash them and you kind of wear them casually too, because I think that's a wonderful look. But the key thing here is sourcing the things that are going to be able to withstand earning the wear. That's what I do. That's what I've done for years, and I think that it's so much nicer to have far fewer things that are made of really high quality and that become so beautiful because they're constantly used, and they're constantly used because I don't have a lot of things. So because I only have one leather bag, when I need to carry around like a satchel, it's this one. I don't have four to choose from, and I think that this is how this actually becomes more beautiful, because if I had four that I could choose from, they all will sort of stay kind of new looking. They're not getting as much wear as one bag would get with consistent use. And that's the case with all these things. I mean, the fewer things you have, the more often you're going to wear those things. And then you can, it's by doing that they really take on part of your lifestyle. So that's my advice. Source really good quality, and then just go to town and use these things, and they will start to become extremely beautiful naturally.